Hello, everybody. My name is Grab Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. Well, we've been talking about this for a while, but it's starting to come to a head. Nearly 1.4 million Americans expect to be evicted in the next 2 months. This was in Fortune magazine. This was then reposted on Yahoo News. It's the end of September, and in the next 2 months. So by the end of the year. So evictions by Christmas. Yay! Isn't capitalism great? But at least some fake guy's going to come down your chimney if you're good and give you toys, which actually you just have to buy. So Santa is in town to make you feel guilty to go buy shit for your kids and your friends and family. But you're going to get evicted. With eviction moratoriums overturned on a federal level and once again about to expire in many states, the housing crisis for renters could be about to reach a peak. Boy, but it's those Republicans in Congress and Senate. Oh, no, wait. The Democratic Party controls Congress. The Democratic Party controls the Senate. I don't vote for either party. I don't know how you can, but let's keep doing the lesser of two evils. Keep doing it. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. I'm sure this time it'll be different. Sure. Nearly 3.7 million people say they feel it is somewhat or very likely they'll be tossed out in the next 2 months. So by the end of November, beginning of December, gone. The Household Pulse Survey, which was conducted from August 18 to 30, finds that nearly 7.7 million Americans are behind on their rent. What this article doesn't talk about is a very obvious thing, too, of unemployment benefits have just, they ended almost a month ago. 7.7 million Americans are behind on their rent. Total. That's a lot of people. Let's break that number down a little bit, or this is according to their survey. Nearly half, some 3.3 million, are 1 or 2 months behind, but 1.1 million are more than 6 months behind on rent payments, with nearly 744,000 being behind by 8 months or more. And with the surge of the Delta variant, I mean, some businesses are open back, like, and that's why people get mad. Oh, they shouldn't have vaccine mandates. Well, if I'm a business and the only way that I can stay open is to require proof of vaccine to get into my business, you bet your sweet ass I'm going to do it. But this is also the bigger issue of, we've gotten some stimulus money in this country, but they didn't just give us UBI. If Trump wasn't such a narcissistic idiot, if he would have given everybody UBI and handled COVID correctly and just said, oh, everyone wear a mask and roll out the vaccine, he would have been reelected. He would have been reelected. But he didn't. And now he's politicized it, and we got this stupid vaccine mandate fight while people are dying and people are facing eviction. Wall Street did great, though. By the way, there's nowhere in this article that's like, hey, Wall Street's on the brink of foreclosure. These Wall Street businesses are all about to go bankrupt because of the pandemic. No, man, they're fine. They're doing great. They got billions, if not, well, actually, they got trillions of dollars. Not only did they get trillions of dollars in stimulus money, they got forgivable PPP loans, which that's not a thing that a lot of small business owners and people who are, of this number, look, we've got 7.7 million people are behind on their rent. Some of these people, in this 7.7 million number, I'm sure some of these people run little businesses or work for businesses. Then what about the businesses that didn't qualify for a PPP loan? Or they did, but it only lasted for 6 months or 9 months or something. Oh, and now that business has to pay that loan back. The big Wall Street companies didn't. They just got free money. You're a mom and pop business. Oh boy, you got to pay that back. You're a bunch of Wall Street assholes. Hey, just keep it. You're just a greasy shithead running around Manhattan and going to whatever. You live in the Hamptons. Just take the money. You're fine. Oh, you get Silicon Valley? Yeah. Tom Brady got $900,000 in stimulus money for his stupid supplement company. Oh, but you know what he did with it? Did he gave it to his employees, right? No. He bought a yacht. He bought a $900,000 yacht. I did a story on that in the spring. So that's what the wealthy are doing. You're facing eviction because the government doesn't give a shit about you. So let's go back to this. So we got 3.3 million are 1 or 2 months behind. 1.1 million are more than 6 months behind. And of that, more than two thirds of it are 8 months or more. Goldman Sachs, one of the people that helped create the last housing crisis 10 years ago, Goldman Sachs, there has been a member of Goldman Sachs in every presidential cabinet since Reagan. You think your two parties are different from one another? Sure. Remember the last housing crisis where Bush and Obama gave a combined 1.7, somewhere in that neighborhood, $1 trillion, and still we had 6 million people get foreclosed upon? None of the bankers were put behind prison, not like they did in Iceland. And that's going to come again. Goldman Sachs warned that as many as 750,000 households could face eviction before the end of the year. Let's just break it down by some of the major cities. New York, 938,000 people behind on rent. 65,000 very likely to face eviction in the next 2 months. And so these big Wall Street companies that have gotten free money and don't have to pay any of it back, some of them, like companies like Goldman Sachs, they're going to buy up. So here's the thing. These people get evicted, right? This article doesn't really go into the facts. So they're behind on rent. So there's a landowner on the other side of this. And not all landowners are big evil corporations. Some of them they're just small business owners. It's just a person, had some money and, I'm going to buy a little condo to rent out, or I'm going to buy a little 4-unit apartment complex, and that's revenue. Or, a married couple, like, this is going to be our retirement or whatever. Well, those people are jacked up too. They're behind on their foreclosures. The forbearances thing, we're going to get into that in a sec. That's running out. So that's what this means. Okay. Los Angeles, 673,000 people behind on rent. 158,000 people in the city of Los Angeles. Twice as many as New York. Almost 3 times as many as New York. New York's a bigger city. That's a staggering number for New York. LA has it worse. Look at all this. Chicago, 67,000 people very likely to face eviction in the next 2 months. But don't ignore these big numbers. 273,000 people behind on rent. 670 behind on rent. 938,000 behind on rent. So that's still another tidal wave coming. This is the immediate concern. 65, 158, and 67. Okay. Dallas, 22,000 people very likely to face eviction in the next 2 months. Houston, 41,000 people. Washington, D.C., 18,000 people. These are massive. This is huge. First of all, where are these people going to go? And again, the landowners, the landlords at these properties, where's their revenue going to come? What's going to happen? We're going to have more homelessness. We're going to have more crime. We're going to have more people applying for unemployment. Miami, 57,000 people likely to face eviction in the next 2 months. Philadelphia, 12,000. Atlanta, 32,000. Phoenix, 22,000. And again, don't ignore the massive numbers. 351,000 people behind on rent in Miami. 81,000 people in Philly behind on rent. 183,000 people in Atlanta behind on rent. These are just the major cities, right? What's that going to do to these cities' economies when all these people can't pay rent and they're gone and they're evicted? And the landlord, Is someone going to move into these? So we're just going to have empty apartment complexes? But let's go to the more, because again, like what have I just been saying? Who owns these? So it's a domino effect. People can't pay their rent, then the landlords can't pay their mortgages. Nearly as many homeowners, some 7.2 million, according to the Census Bureau, are behind on their mortgage payments. However, due to forbearance and their programs offered by landlords, only 396,000 of these homeowners say it's very likely they'll face foreclosures in the next 2 months. That's still a lot. So you add, first of all, let's break these numbers down. You add this 7.2 million foreclosures. 7.2 million homeowners are behind on their mortgages, and the 7.7 renters. So now we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 million people are behind on their rent and mortgage. Now, because of the forbearance plan, but even what this article doesn't go into, okay. So due to forbearance and other programs offered by lenders, only 396 of these homeowners say it's very likely they face foreclosures. Well, first of all, let's not minimize that over 400,000 people are 2 months away from going through foreclosure. But let's look at that's a pretty scary number, right? So the real estate prices have been going up and up. This is a scary number. Now, I've talked about this before, the forbearance plans. Okay, so let's say you haven't had to pay your mortgage in the last year, whatever, and because of the forbearance plans, and the forbearance plans ends. Okay, so now let's say I'm just going to pick round numbers. Let's say your mortgage was $1,500 a month. Okay, and they said, okay, because of the forbearance plans, they're just going to restructure your loan. But the interest, right, and the escrow fees were that tab was still running this last year of forbearance, or year and a half, however many. Let's just pick round numbers. Let's just say 12 months of forbearance. So that number's still running. So when the forbearance ends, okay, you're not going to foreclose upon, but then they're going to say, your $1,500 mortgage payment is now $2,000 a month. So then there's going to be all these people going, well, I can't afford that. And they're going to start selling. So there's going to be a glut of homes for sale. With that on top of the 396,000 foreclosures, what's that going to do? And again, all those renters, the 1.1 million people that are about to get evicted, it's putting a strain on the landlords. Do you see how this is coming to play? But that's what kind of seems like part of the master plan here is give Wall Street and all the banks a bunch of money, endless streams of money. They don't have to pay it back. They're not held accountable. I mean, I did stories a year ago on companies that got big stimulus checks, hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, and still laid employees off. Because we're going to just trust that the ruling class, the CEOs they're going to trickle that money down. That's what Reagan's plan. They're going to trickle that money down to the regular people, the working class. No, they're going to snatch up your homes. They want this to happen. These big banks are waiting for this to happen so they can snatch up and buy and own more properties and then jack the rents up. So this is every couple of months I do a story about this, getting new statistics and showing you what's going to happen. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. But what's the squad doing about it? Oh, they're giving speeches and tweeting. Yes. At the unveiling of the Keeping Renters Safe Act, notes that 1 in 6 renters are at risk. This is not an individual shortcoming. This is a systemic failure. Thank you, Cori Bush and Elizabeth Warren, for leading the way on Keeping Renters Safe Act. Okay. Is this an actual bill that's going to be passed? Or are they just going to give a speech? And then what do they do after the speech? Play music and everybody dance? Boo. And I've had some liberal friends of mine like, Graham, why are you guys so hard on AOC and the squad? They're our allies. That's not how politics works. They said they were going to fight for us. They said they were going to fight the corporate Democrats. They're acquiescing to the corporate Democrats. What they should be doing, there's 100-member caucus, the Progressive Caucus in Congress is 100 members. If they really wanted to flex their muscles, they would do what the Tea Party did. The Tea Party said, hey, Republican Party, you don't give us what we want, we walk. They made John Boehner's life hell. He retired. The Tea Party didn't go after, they didn't complain about Democrats. They went to the Republicans and said, you better do what we want. This is what progressives need to do. Hey, AOC, hey, there's Omar behind you, Warren, Bush, we're voting you out if you guys don't flex your muscles. I'm so sick of this. Oh, the Republicans are bad. Yeah, the Republicans are awful. So are the Democrats, and they play along. I don't need another goddamn tweet. Is this another speech and a tweet? Is that going to prevent the millions of people from losing their homes and in the next 2 months? No, you hold the politicians that you supported. I couldn't vote for AOC or any members of the squad because I'm not in their district, but I donated to her campaign. And I promoted her on this show. I'm not a big show, but a little show, but I promoted her and I was happy when she won. And I've done a bunch of videos saying, wow, she's so great. She's so great. And now she's not. And people are like, don't be so hard on them. What? Politicians should be scared of us. Like I've said this before, Lindsey Graham has never promised me a goddamn thing. The squad has, and they don't deliver. So we need to vote them out. That's what the progressives are, such babies. They just, and the Democratic establishment will throw some breadcrumbs and we'll go, yay, we did it's progress. No, you say we're leaving. If the Progressive Caucus really was worth anything, they would say, Nancy Pelosi, we're voting you out. We want Medicare for all. We want rent relief. We want UBI. We want it now or we walk. And the Democrats would give them whatever they wanted. But they don't have the guts to do that. They just don't. Because she's been promised by the Democratic Party. I guarantee you they've promised her like the White House in 2032 or something like that. I guarantee it, or 2028 or somewhere in there. She's like, we're grooming you for this. So just play ball. So now she's playing incremental centrism, but their tweets are really fierce. I don't give a shit about your tweets. Tweets don't pay my rent. Tweets don't pay your rent. So it's more talking. Obama gave a bunch of great speeches. Kamala Harris gave a bunch of speeches about how the homeowners' lives they saved. It didn't save mine. They let the banks steal my house. I went through bankruptcy and foreclosure in 2010. It was a scam. They scammed me. And they didn't hold any of them accountable. So what, what's changed? What's new? Where is it? We need these allies. No, do your job or get out. It's a waste of time to get mad at like Lindsey Graham and Mitch McConnell. No, the Democrats control Congress, you guys. They're still trying to sell us this, the Republicans are obstruction. No, they're not. When the Republicans have control of the House and the Senate, they go, we're passing this bill and this bill and this, but we don't give a shit what you think. The Democrats are like, well, you gotta play ball. Shut up. They should be jamming progressive policies down the throats of the Republican Party going, we won. The American people vote us in here. Get on your knees and suck it. But they can't do that because they're bought and paid for just like the Republicans are. This is theatrics. Young woman of color fighting the fight. It's theatrics, man. The ruling class still has power. The ruling class is not threatened at all. And these guys give speeches and tweets. All right, let me know if your landlord accepts this tweet. I hope so. Let me know if this speech, if you can give that to your bank and say, hey, and the bank goes, that's such a great speech. We're not going to foreclose on you. You're good. Let me know how that goes. Because this Isn't. And all the money we've been printing, I watch a lot of like economists talk, and it just doesn't look good what's coming down the road. Remember last summer when I was telling you guys buy Bitcoin? Do whatever you got to do, man. Make your own decisions, do your own research, but follow the money, connect the dots, and get the truth. I hope you're not behind on your rent. I really hope I lost my home. It's the worst feeling. It's a shitty, shitty feeling. Thankfully, I never had to live on the street, but there's already more homeless people. It's a homeless crisis in Los Angeles. It's on every street corner. So shave your knuckles for justice. Thanks for watching. Boom. Hey, everybody. Ron Placone and I had to cancel all of our October tour dates because of COVID, the Delta variant, all that. But we still have shows in California. Ron and I are doing San Francisco September 11th, Sacramento September 12th, Burbank September 15th, and Lee Camp and I are doing live Government Secrets September 18th in Los Angeles. All those tour dates are at grahamelwood.com. All of the venues are requiring proof of vaccination. Dynasty Typewriter on the 18th is also saying you can do negative COVID tests, but check with the venues for what their policies are. I have no control over those policies. Go to grahamelwood.com. Sorry we can't come. This sucks. We'll be back hopefully next year. But if you're in California or want to make the trip, come out to these shows. These are probably the only shows we're going to do this year. Thank you.